On this episode, we had Matt Snowberger of TNT Lawn Care. Matt is a repeat guest, and he tells us about his journey, what's been going on the past year in his life, how he's been growing his business. He doubled his staff. He's writing new processes. It's a great story. We love to follow the progress that Matt has had over the past year and to see where he's going to go in the future. I know you're going to love this episode. Please like and subscribe. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill Dement, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Hole in the Wall Drywall Repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
James, good morning. How are you doing today?
Outstanding. How you doing?
Good. Small business. It's where we've been for a while, isn't it?
Sure is. And I think that the last time that this guest was on, he was a small business, but not small money-wise. You're making good money, doing a good living. But I think you were small in business, if that makes sense. You were still learning how to run a business. And so I just feel free to introduce our guest, Bill, because it's going to be a whopper.
A repeat guest. Glad to have him back. Matt Snowberger. Matt, welcome in. He's the owner of TNT Lawn Care.
Uh-huh.
And he's a fun story because he is a small business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talk about our many adventures as a small business, and part of that is teaming with and meeting with other small business owners to share and compare.
Mm-hmm.
And we always learn from one another. So, Matt, let me just say welcome in.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here again.
Yeah. It's funny because you started your business like many people did. And let's just say, if you have not listened to the episode that he was on, it was episode 71 back in December of 23. But if you started your business like many people do, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to start a business and I'm going to roll. You literally bought some equipment and you started knocking on doors and you started, doing lawn care. And then you realize that, well, wait a second, I got to scale. I got to grow. How do I manage, get contracts and such? And now the cars are already rolling and you've got to figure out how to build your systems so I'm curious, since you were here last time, what kind of has changed and how have you grown as a business owner?
Some of the things that we've changed are we've really changed the culture.
Tell me, what was the culture like before and then how's it changed?
Well, before we were kind of, we definitely, I was securing contracts. So we had a lot of work, but we didn't have enough people. So I would hire people and, I was basically just hiring anybody. I would go on Facebook and whoever wanted to work, come on in, And so there was no standard there. And I think that was causing a lot of issues in the business to where, if you just hire anybody, you're just going to get anybody. Yeah. Well, really, you need specific people who want to work, who have the fire that it takes to stay out in this heat and work and to actually do the job correctly.
Yeah, because you've got clients you got to please. You don't want to lose those contracts. You want to make sure they're dialed in. What are some of the things that you did to kind of attract those people, and how did you change that culture? What are a couple of things that you did to change your mindset and then change the company's culture to attract those different caliber people?
So I think one of the things that I did is I kind of judged the people differently, not whether they were the strongest or the fastest, but really their mentality. I wanted to dig into their brain and know, why do you want this job? Do you want this job because you're trying to pay your phone bill, or do you want this job because you want to take care of your family, or do you want this job because you want a career and you want to stay here with me and you want to grow?
So you really changed your interview strategy.
Definitely.
Completely. Yeah,
definitely.
I noticed even here at Hole in the Wall, James, we have by intention not tried to hire specifically for skill set, but more hiring for character, because the skills, if you have basic intelligence, can be taught, but it's hard to teach somebody character if they don't have it already.
Yeah, because if you have somebody who thinks it's okay to steal, then that's a character flaw, and you can't have somebody that's, at least on our team, that, because we're in people's homes, you don't want to have someone that's able to take from somebody's house. We actually had an employee once who we caught him. He stole a phone charger from Sherwin-Williams, and it was like, "What are you doing?" "Yeah, don't worry about it. I got a receipt." And he lied the whole time. And so it's like, well, You're gone. Bye. See you later. It's a character flaw. I can't have you in our company. So you've asked. So you're changing the caliber of person that you're hiring. Have you had better retention since you've done that?
I've had way better retention. We're having really right now 0 turnover, which is great. We've increased our staff. We have 11 people now.
Wow.
When last time you talked to me, I think we had 5 or 6. We've almost doubled up on staff. And I'm really excited about the future that TNT has right now.
Yeah. So what are some things that you've done in the company besides the staffing now that you've been able to change the culture of your company?
Raises. Definitely promoting the hard work. I'm definitely promoting that. If you want to come to TNT and you want to work hard, you're going to get paid to do that.
Yeah.
And that if you reward one good employee, though, that can also inspire other employees. Listen, they all know who's working and they know who's not because they're out there every day with each other.
Yeah,
definitely.
Do you find that there is an accountability within the employees? They hold each other more accountable now that the culture shifted?
I definitely think they hold each other a lot more accountable. You know, that's been another thing that's helped me with hiring people now is that the employees do not want a lazy worker to come onto their crew because it's just going to make their lives more terrible. You know, you need the hard workers on your crew. So
yeah,
those guys, they've helped me filter out anyone who wants to come and not do their job. You know, they're going to tell me about it, which is a great thing.
Yeah. You know, we had an issue for a while where the guys didn't want to rat on each other. And I was like, listen, you don't understand. This is not high school anymore. You're not snitching on somebody in school. If you keep somebody who's not the same caliber that we need in the company, you're detrimenting the company and yourself because you're going to end up working harder and there's going to be more mistakes that could land on your shoulders. So we had to like reverse the mentality. And so now it's like, hey, this guy's not going to work out. You know, multiple leads come to us and say, yeah, this person is they're just not cut from the right cloth. It's not a good fit for us. I mean, we fired a guy yesterday for it. It was just amazing guy. Just
not cut out for
not
this.
cut out for this, and nothing bad against him. It's just sometimes it's not a good fit to come work for us. Well, that's cool. Do you find that you're doing like anything outside of work socially with your employees at all?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like I think I just had everybody over to my house for like the playoff game, stuff like that. Little get-togethers, lunch together sometimes on our lunch break.
It's hard because you want to be friendly and you want to be friends, but if someone doesn't work out, they still know that you're not going to let them stay in the company.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a role there. You still have to kind of keep that.
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned that last time you were here with maybe some friends from high school or something like that, or some, acquaintances you had that you brought into the company and maybe you felt a little entitled even, and, that you had to just pull those weeds.
You had to pull those weeds. And I definitely let the guys know now from the get-go, like, we can be friends, but there's business and there's friends. And when it comes to the business side, we're all business. And if it's not like that, then I don't have a spot for you.
I know that I think I understood you to say that you guys had moved into a new shop recently. So with the doubling essentially of your workforce, was it that you just needed more space, or was it?
Well, the first time I was here, we were moving into a new shop, and we moved from that shop to another new shop because we outgrew that shop. And now we're getting ready to move once again because we've outgrown this shop
Oh my
too
goodness.
now. So,
Wow.
I just purchased a house with some acres, and I'm actually gonna build a shop at my house.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
That's
I love
good.
that.
So talk me through some of the processes that you've had to kind of change outside of the interview process. Are you documenting anything? Have you changed the way you're doing estimates? Have you changed the way you're running your business at all?
A little bit. Like, we're about to unveil some new things in the next couple months. Since we started, I've really relied on word of mouth advertising this whole time. I've never really dug into the marketing because most of the time I've been so busy working. But now with the proper people in place, I'm able to back out of the field, and now I have the time to invest into the marketing. And yeah.
We found ourselves in a similar situation, didn't we? We never had to go out and look for work. It was word of mouth. It was Google, and we had a good presence there, and we still do. But there was a mind shift within the last year for us to say, rather than let's don't just be order takers. Would you like fries with that?
Yeah.
That's what I felt like sometimes. What does it look like to go out and cultivate new relationships, new business, and the question being, how do I get to the next level?
I think it's going to be great. Like we basically, when I first started, we would cut grass and landscape, but we stopped doing the residential landscaping because we were getting big commercial contracts. And the big commercial contracts, they're great, but I feel like I'm almost capped out at that. Like I'm trying to find really big commercial contracts, and they're like unicorns. They're just really hard to find. But I know that we're great at landscaping. So next month we're turning our landscaping side back on for the residential landscaping, and I'm super excited about that.
I know in the pre-show you were talking a little bit about you're opening up some social media. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so really this whole time we haven't had any social media, no website, no door hangers, pretty much just word of mouth. So we're having a website built now. It should be released next month. And we have a whole marketing scheme that's being released next month.
You're really ramping up the business side of the business.
Definitely.
So this is important. Trying to scale a business is important. A lot of people are just happy making the money they make, and that's it, right? So, but the way you create an empire, right? The way you create generational wealth, the way you can boost your community and your employees is you have to scale, you have to grow. So, but how do you grow? Hey, you have to have the business to do. So you got to bring leads in the funnel. That's your marketing campaign you're about to do. Secondly, you have to have the right personnel that can achieve the goals of your new hires, and could be a different division. So you could have a residential division that's doing your landscaping, and then you could have your commercial division that's doing all the commercial stuff. And then you have the ability to then execute consistently every time the same way to a high caliber, right? And then you got to have the equipment and the trucks and the capital it takes just to open up another crew. I mean, open another crew, you got to buy trucks, you got to buy trailers, you got to buy mowers, you got to buy all your
new
insurances,
yeah.
New workers' comp. And so thinking through those things, it's a balancing act. So in my head, it's like, I want more business. So I could go spend $1 gajillion on marketing and bring a lot of business. But if I don't have the infrastructure or the training in place to boost my labor, right, to go find the right guys that I can go interview. Because even to onboard somebody takes more than just a day or two. It takes a couple of weeks to get them on board, get them in the system, make sure you run their background check, and then train them and then put them on crew. Have you found yourself having to change some of those methods? How fast could you line up another crew? If someone came in tomorrow and says, I got a great contract for you, I want you to run this entire condo community and we're going to re-landscape it, and once you have a monthly contract, how fast could you then just pull up another crew and ramp that up?
Definitely. So it's taken me a long time to figure this out, but I finally figured out a great idea probably about a month ago. My crew is really hot out there. It's really hard work. Everyone is always saying how, we're understaffed. We could use more people. And that's a common thing for people to say. But there's a fear with me as a business owner of bringing more people in and the numbers, if we're only making this much money, how can I afford to bring more people in? And, how's it going to make sense? So what I realized is if I turn the landscaping side of the business back on and I bring the extra people on and take the risk of bringing the extra people on, I have work for the extra people to do. Even if I sell no landscaping jobs, I already have work. So essentially what I'm going to do is overstaff my staff. Now, when the landscaping jobs do come, you can pull people off of the different crews, create another crew with the extra people that you brought on, and manage that job,
Mm-hmm. And keep everyone busy when there's not.
And keep everyone busy, and definitely keep my customers happier, because you have extra hands to pull weeds or trim bushes or whatever you need them to do.
Well, that's what you get paid for as management, right? You're the go-between to interface with the customer to keep them happy and interface with your employees to keep them satisfied. So that's why you get paid, right? Because you're the guy walking the balance beam there to keep all of that in balance.
And I think last month some light bulbs went off in my head. Like, yeah, this makes sense. It's going to make sense for my customers. It's going to make sense for me, and it's going to make sense for the company. So when all those three things align, the light bulbs definitely started going off.
Yeah.
And
so how do you manage, listen, when you're a business owner, it could be all encompassing, right? So, but you're a husband and you're a father and you've got a family life outside of work. How do you manage the personal work-life balance?
I try to delegate my time appropriately. I really make it a point that, hey, look, if I'm spending Saturday with my wife and my son, Saturday I'm spending with my wife and my son. That's what's going to happen. And I think you got to make your schedule, and I think you got to stick to it. Whatever it is that you want to do, I think you need to do it and stick to it.
What is there a routine or a habit that you've gotten into that has kind of helped you grow your business at all?
I think staying positive and keeping all the guys positive. If someone comes into work and they're having a bad day or something, I'm gonna pull you to the side and say, "Hey, man, what's going on? Like, why are you in a bad mood? Like, what can we do to change this?" I think that's helped a lot. Positivity goes a long way.
It's true. So let's just think back for a second. A lot of great things on the horizon for you. If you could look backwards, and how long have you been in business total again?
I've been in business 11 years now.
So out of 11 years, is there a mistake that you've made that you've learned from in the past?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say the mistake that I learned, if I could start the business completely over from day one, I would definitely take more time to prepare the business before I started the business. Because when I started, I basically just bought a push mower and a weed eater, and I got right to work. And that essentially tied my hands because I started working so much, and the word of mouth grew the business so quickly. I was swamped.
James used to call that trying to put the car together while it's rolling down the road.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah. And listen, but that's how you start a business. You just do it. But beginning with the end in mind, it's a little bit of effort, I mean, lighting up a Facebook page is free. Lighting up a website doesn't cost a ton of money, with Wix and the other packages that are out there. But you can grow. And we are going on with our 4th CRM system. We're out there doing 1,500 to 1,800 jobs in Orlando alone a year, not including our other locations. And so now we're trying to change the entire computer system that we're using while we're moving. So it is possible. It will be a little bit of pain, but it absolutely is possible. So what would you have done? What are some of the key elements that you would have done differently outside of just getting a push mower and a weed eater going?
I think I would have defined the roles of each employee a little bit better instead of just hiring people and saying, "Okay, you got a job, you're here, good luck." It would have been more of a training process like what we have now. Now we have a trainer who, when the guys are onboarded, he's going to take you out in the field and he's going to show you everything that you need to know. And we weren't doing that before. We were just kind of, all right, is this guy good or is he not? And I think they need to go through that training, because if they don't know what you want them to do, how are they ever going to do it?
Yeah, right.
So I think that's definitely one of the things.
Well, that's a good shift. That's also a good culture shift, right? So people feeling like they have a handle on their job better, they produce better. They have a
basic confidence.
Yeah, there's a confidence, right? That's what I was looking for. Did you know that there are over 140 million homes in the U.S.? 97% of them have walls and ceilings that are built using drywall. The drywall repair industry is simply enormous, valued at over $13 billion a year. We're hole-in-the-wall drywall repair, and for years we have been perfecting the art of repairing drywall, developing and refining our systems, and strengthening our brand. Our business model is simple, scalable, and easy to learn. We believe it's a real game changer. We are successful drywall repair pros who decided to take our repair business to a higher level growing both our franchise training and support to industry-leading standards. You'll benefit from our vast experience helping your franchise hit the ground running and achieve success quickly. We'll give you access to our marketing team that has created strategic programs designed to get your phone ringing and booking new business fast. Join a fast-growing leader in an exciting dynamic segment of the home service industry by franchising with Hole in the Wall Drywall Repair. Start building your own business and securing your own financial future today.
I wonder, Matt, is there somebody you can look back on? Maybe it was a podcast, a book, a person in your life that you felt like really was somebody you could look to when you were starting your business 11 years ago, or maybe even along the way?
Well, I'm not sure about when I started my business. Yeah, there was a guy. Actually, it's a funny story. I just hired him. He was my mentor, and he's been cutting grass, and he's starting to get a little older. I want his brain, you know? So the guy, he's just full of knowledge, super smart guy. And I just got the opportunity to hire him, and I did that. So I'm super excited about that.
What roles is he going to have in the company?
Basically, the role he's going to have in the company is he's going to be doing like repairs on maintenance and help me start up the irrigation division. So.
Wow, irrigation. I didn't catch that earlier. You're going to be doing, is that something you already do?
It has been something that we do, but we've kind of kept it low key, but we're about to unveil it.
Yeah, James, you had someone
so
in Orlando that was in irrigation, right?
Yeah. I've got a couple people that are in irrigation.
And they were busy all the time, and it was a highly profitable business, as I recall.
Commercial irrigation is a different beast. You know, you can do commercial and residential irrigation. Yeah. Okay. So bringing on the right talent is going to help you grow your business even more.
Definitely.
So tell me, what are some of the things that are exciting you for this year? So 2025, for us and our company, 2025 is probably going to be our pivot year where we just pivot to crazy good things, right? What's 2025 looking like to you?
2025 is looking like the year of opportunity. And I'm hoping that we can take the opportunity and shoot us into the next chapter of whatever it's going to be. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping that we can get our landscaping side started and moving efficiently. And I'm hoping that we can get our irrigation side started and moving efficiently. And if I can get that accomplished this year, it'll be great.
Yeah. And a website and social media push should be quite helpful for that, I would think.
So listen, I mean, let me just take my podcast hat off for a second. The diversity that you're going to create, okay, is important. You got to have more than one lane for income, right? So commercial is wonderful. Big dollars, big contracts is amazing. But you lose one contract and you could lose employees. You could lose momentum, right?
Yeah.
But adding on the residential side back allows you to have now another form of another lane for business. Adding your landscaping for residential is great. And then now adding your commercial and residential irrigation division. Now you've got 4 different lanes, right? Maybe 5, that if one takes a stumble, it's not the end of the world, right?
Definitely.
And then hiring the right guy, having enough crew to then manage all of these, cross-pollinate. So when one division is low, they just kind of go help the other division. That gives you the ability to buffer those hard times, right? So just when you have that hard time, when it's a weird season and you might have lost a big contract, you're not losing employees. You're not losing much momentum, because if 50% of your business is with 2 customers and one of those customers dies, you've lost 25% of your business, right? That's a hit that no one wants to take, but it does happen. But you can buffer that by limiting that division to just a certain amount of dollars, right? So what you're doing is good thinking. You're now launching marketing, which you have never really had to do. So now you're doing it because you can't grow.
I think you'll be shocked at how many doors that opens, Matt.
Absolutely. And then you're going to have a presence online, which gives you validation. When people can't, if they look you up, they can't find you, but maybe a Yelp review or something, they don't have as much confidence in you. But yet if you have a slick looking website, that's got your story on it, that's got your crews on it, and it's got your services, then people know what they can expect out of you. So those little things are actually huge things. And so what you've done is now set you up to really launch into 2025 you're talking by the end of the first quarter, you're going to have some amazing stuff rolling. we'll have to have you back next year. You'll let us know how you doubled.
He is fun to follow, isn't he,
Yeah.
James?
Yeah, that would be amazing. And I also need to go back to the last question and give you guys some credit, because the last time I was here, I took so many things from you guys. I learned so much knowledge from you guys and applied it to my business, which has been really positive and helped me become successful.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that.
Yes.
I'm glad we were able to provide something for you.
Well, that's kind of why we started the podcast, is we just talk. We just want to, but I think that there are times that if we can help, and listen, just know off air, we're available to you anytime you want to talk. I've got people that can do anything you need, and so feel free to reach out to us. We want to be here for the small business owner, because we're still growing and learning as we grow. So I'm glad we could help. I mean, it's been a year, almost a little over a year since you were here last, and you've already
doubled in size.
Yeah, it doubled your crews, and you've grown. I mean, it's kind of like the bushes. Sometimes you have to trim the bushes back for them to grow better, right?
Yeah.
So you had to do a little bit of pruning, a little bit of self-regulating, a little bit of learning yourself, but you've now set yourself up to launch and to blow up crazy. So good job.
And no doubt you will. You got good energy. You're a smart guy. You ain't lazy. I'm telling you, that's a winning formula, Matt.
So in all these divisions, are there any trends? Are there anything that's on the horizon? I have a smart home, so I've got a Ratio sprinkler controller and stuff, so I can control my stuff, irrigation on my phone, and I can give access to somebody to log into it to make sure it's dialed in right. But are there any trends that are out there that maybe excites you, or things that are on the horizon? And I mean, I don't know, it's fairly, no pun intended, cut and dry. It is lawn care, but there's got to be some new technologies or anything out there.
Oh, there definitely is. I just used AI to send an email the other day for the first time. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You may be the only guy in Lake County doing that.
That was exciting. But the thing that I see on the horizon is also scary. But, they definitely are coming out with AI robotic lawnmowers that seem like they could put you out of business. But when I see them, honestly, it kind of looks like opportunity to me, because if you can catch it ahead of the curve, ahead of everybody else, then someone has to run the robots. They can't just run themselves.
Yeah, and robots don't edge. They don't trim bushes.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff that the robots don't do.
Yeah.
But it is exciting to see that kind of stuff. I enjoy landscaping. I enjoy doing a lot of stuff. A lot more could get done if you didn't have to put a person on that lawnmower. A lot more detailed stuff could get done. So some of that stuff is exciting to me. I've been researching it, but
yeah, there's a lot out there. Lake Nona is an area that I live near, and there's a common area, and there's always just a mower. It's a constant.
It's just always going.
Just slow. They're methodical, but you can like your Roomba, you can set it and forget it and kind of walk away. But then it rains. It's got to go recharge or whatever. So they're not perfect, but embracing potential modern technology and being ahead of the curve, that's absolutely what you have to do.
I'm curious, as you've grown and doubled your crew compared to a year ago, and I don't know if you were actually out riding a mower last year. Were you, and are you able to do that now, or do you find yourself just kind of getting a little bit farther from the actual work?
no, I wasn't riding a mower last year. I still go and I'll do stuff from time to time, because I really can't help it. I love it, So
Sound like a lot of other entrepreneurs I know.
Maybe you got idle time and you're got time to kill. Go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go trim some bushes or something for sure, But yeah, I have the time now to really manage the business properly, and I think you have to have that person who's doing that, who's behind the scenes and who's pulling all the strings and who's making sure that everyone has edger blades and making sure that the oil is there. And if that person's not there doing that, you might be just stuck. So
well, but even having somebody on staff that can maintain your equipment, PM your equipment, PM your trucks, whatever it is, that if you can maintain it ahead of time, because the equipment is your job, right?
Yep.
So if your equipment breaks down, you have got no job.
Yeah.
So even that's a great thing.
Definitely.
So I'm sure you've had some ups and downs in your business. What are some things that you do to kind of navigate through those tough times? What kind of gets you through? How do you stay motivated when things are a little struggling?
Well, I would say I try to go by one simple quote. It's not going to be tough forever. You know, it'll be tough sometimes, but it won't be tough forever. And I know that. And so even when it is tough, if you can remember that it's not going to be tough forever. It'll only be tough for a little bit. You can kind of get through it, you know. Now, I can't tell you how long the tough time will last. You know, it could last who knows how long, but it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. We've got a one similar to that, don't we?
Yes.
I think it's from your dad or your granddad. What was it?
Well, there's two, but one is, time goes really fast, right? So my dad always says, I can hold my breath that long. You know, it's like, oh man, 3 months, it's going to take forever. It's 3 months. I can hold my breath that long, right?
Yeah.
Because as we get older, time flies, right? Of course, my grandpa was always, this too shall pass. That's
right.
It's going to pass. Just like basically what you were just saying, it's going to pass. You know, just let it happen the way it happens. You don't have to react all the time the way you want. And it's funny, if you look back a year ago, you know, it went by fast. I thought you were on the podcast just a few months back, and I look back, it's been over a year.
Yeah.
Because it just goes by real fast. But if you focus on the struggle 100% of the time, it's going to eat you up. But being able to then compartmentalize and never neglect the business or your family or God, then you've got yourself a winning combination.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Matt, thanks for coming out, being on the show again.
Hey, I really appreciate you guys having me here.
It's fun. We kind of keep an eye on you. And once you get your website going and social media, we can spy on you.
That's great.
A little easier.
That's great.
So if someone wanted to get a hold of you, now you're in Lake County, right?
Yes.
So if someone wanted to get a hold of you now, get a hold of TNT Lawn Care, what's the best way to do it?
Well, they could come to the shop at 801 David Walker Drive, or they could reach me by my phone at 352-551-4507.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, Matt, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And we're excited to see you grow as a young business person. 11 years is nothing to, most people don't stay in their jobs nearly that long. So good for you for growing and learning. And thank you everyone for listening. Another really good show. We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.